to Order 42. I am Rob, and we've got a full panel today. To my left, we've got Yoshi Vu. How's it going, Yoshi?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Leon in the bottom left. Leon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And
Lovely.
on the bottom right, we have got Billy, the director of the Game Chasers movie. How's it going, Billy?
Yeah, I'm so out of place on this panel. But yes, how you doing?
The director's out of place?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm talking about skins on the wall over here.
Well, you know, all you have to do is just turn your camera a little bit, and then you got the...
Actually, how does my camera look? I can't really see anything.
No, it's good.
I don't even know if I cut it off or something.
No,
Okay,
you're
cool.
good. You're good.
Excellent.
Yeah. And before we actually get into the show proper, I do have to thank MCH7 for following 20 hours ago for some reason, and he is our 66th follower. So Order 66 for the win. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, gosh, how's everybody doing during the pandemic? Is things okay?
Yeah.
Football's back,
I mean,
so that's all right.
We're all geeks, so
You mean
all
soccer?
things considered, it hasn't
No,
changed too much.
I-
Yeah, right, soccer.
I don't mean soccer. No, I mean football.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Cut it out with your weird talk. Your UK speak.
Hey, if 3/4 of the world call it football, then it's football. You ain't the whole world.
Now,
No,
what's
I don't
weird
know,
here-
man. We're really good at tipping the scales lopsided over here in a few different things.
Yeah, and what's weird is Leon, for some reason, your video is just a little bit behind, but that's the internet, guys. It's no big thing. It's just that it's like you start talking and then your video catches up. It's weird, but it's not. It's nothing.
With you,
Yeah, but it's nothing that
with
you
you-
can. Yeah, but it's no big deal.
yeah.
It's no big
It's
deal.
something to do with like the UK internet. I don't know.
Maybe it's the
Yeah.
exchange rate. You
We
know,
got dial-up, right? The same as you guys.
dial up. I got to
With
crank
your
in the
rotary
back.
phone.
Okay, I think it is.
But yeah, let's get into it. I mean, Billy, let's start off with you. It's really, I mean, this is kind of like, you know, these guys, you know, the guys on the left side of the screen, you know, those are the effects guys. I didn't plan that, by the way, but those guys are the effects guys. You know, like Yoshi does the visual effects, and Leon did the special effects on set. So it's kind of like, to me, I mean, this was Leon's idea. And I think it's a great idea because it's like we kind of get like all these different kind of this view on how, you know, on how it all kind of came together and the thought processes and stuff like that. So Billy, first
Yeah.
off,
Sure.
when you were writing the script, did you have effects in mind? Like, did you think, you know, how am I going to do this? Or was it just like, let's just go crazy and then we'll figure out where to pull back later?
Generally, that's how you write. I mean, a lot of people will go in, I guess, knowing full well that their budget isn't going to be what they want it to be, and then they kind of write to that. But a lot of times, people will write and then realize they don't have enough money and then cut it out. I think I was kind of somewhere in between. I was being realistic, but still, there were some things that I wanted to do that were like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this, so I might have to cut them out. One of them was very, very CGI heavy, and obviously I can't really say exactly what it is, but I knew I was going to need a CGI artist for that. It's nothing that I can do, and you know, it's also one of those scenes where if it had to be cut, it's not going to really affect the story all that much. It would just be kind of a cool moment that was lost. So I was like, if we can find somebody that can do it and not break the bank on us, then absolutely, let's do it. That was one of the scenes, and there were other things that I knew that it was either going to be like CGI or special effects on set. But it was one of those things also that I didn't really know what I didn't know if we were going to be able to have a special effects guy on set. And I knew there were a couple, I guess, like technical stunts, quote unquote. But those were written in a way to where I knew if we wouldn't really be able to do them once it got time to do it on set, then it was one of those things where I could easily just like rewrite it on the fly or redo it on the fly and just not use those elements, and it's not really going to affect the story, but it's just not going to be as cool. So I definitely didn't want to do that. But yeah, there was definitely some stuff in the script initially that were like, I was like, if we can't find anybody that's going to be able to do this, we're going to have to cut it out. It's just the way it is.
Right. Now, so like Yoshi, did you were actually involved pretty early. I mean, even during the Kickstarter, and you know, I'm not exactly sure when you got involved with it and said, "Hey, I'm going to help." But like, did you guys have any kind of conversations as to, you know, yeah, I can do that, or did you even make suggestions as to what you can do?
I don't know if I had too many suggestions. Billy had a pretty clear idea of what he wanted. I'm sure we've discussed things here and there in terms of, you know, budget, time constraints, and all that. But overall, he kind of came at me and was like, "This is what I want. Is it doable?" And it's like, yeah, it's not a problem. It's totally doable. And that's the magic of VFX nowadays. Is it's weird when people ask me like, "So can this be done or can that be done?" And the answer is always yes. Everything can be done. You know, it's kind of weird to say, but I'm like you've seen Doctor Strange, right? You've seen Jurassic Park. I mean, there's really nothing we can't do anymore. It's kind of, if you can think of it, we can make it happen.
There's definitely I was just going to add to that. No, you can definitely do anything depending on what your budget is.
Right. That's what I was going to say is like, it's time and money, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, I would think, right? So
yeah,
it's
that's one of the major faults of big blockbusters, though, is they have all the money in the world and they sometimes forget they don't have all the time in the world.
Right. Now, Leon, with you, when you came on, you kind of came on pretty late in the process. I mean, what, like,
yeah, well,
a couple of weeks before shooting?
Yeah, I kind of forced myself onto the movie, really. It just
force himself. Look, he's going to say force himself, but he bent over backwards to make it happen, because we just for our budget we couldn't fly him out and do what you would normally do with that sort of thing. This dude was telling me about all the things that he could do on set. And you got to understand, there are a lot of people that are saying, "Hey, Billy, I can help you on the movie. You can help you on the movie." And it's like, I mean, what experience do you have? As soon as I look him up and see his IMDb, I'm like, yeah, come on board, man.
Well, like what?
That's it. Well,
go ahead.
No. I was going to say, it's like I messaged Billy when I saw him posting up that he was looking for on set people just for the actual shooting, and I just finished 3 jobs back to back. I had a little bit of time, and I was like, why not? I watch Game Chasers. I love that show. So I just thought I'll send a message. I'm never going to hear back. And no, Billy did contact me. We got talking. He was very trusting to actually send me the script, which I went through, and I sort of pointed out what I could do in terms of Atmos. I mean, at some points there was going to be some more special effects elements that I mean I won't get into, but stuff that I could bring to the project, and yeah, it kind of went from there, really.
A lot of fake semen.
Yeah, well, the thing,
there's nothing fake about
it. There's no none of the semen on set was fake. It was all
took a while,
but grade A.
Yeah.
I was going to add to what Leon was saying, and he actually, when I was talking to him the first time, he was bringing things to me, because obviously he has way more experience in this realm than I do. He's bringing things to me that I hadn't really ever thought about, which I thought was an extremely beneficial thing, because these are things that would have not happened on set if not for Leon bringing them to my attention and being like, you know, you could do this and this to enhance the movie or to enhance this scene. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we really need this guy aboard.
So, everything okay? No.
A little bit.
So you guys, Yoshi and and Leon, you're a department of one on this project, pretty much.
Mm.
You know, you're in charge. So how different is that? I mean, like me, it's like there's kind of a beauty in just taking orders and doing the job. But I mean, do you enjoy being the guy, you know?
I'll let Yoshi go first. Take this one.
If you would have asked me, 4 or 5 years ago, my answer would be different. Fortunately for me now, being at doing this as long as I've been doing it, taking on this amount of a shot or even more than one shot is not uncommon. So thankfully, I'm fairly comfortable with it at this point in time to be like, okay, this is your shot, just handle it. But even as short as 3 or 4 years ago, it would have been more of an issue. So thankfully, it's been okay for me.
Well, I mean, throughout my career, I've worked on some big stuff, but I've also worked on some smaller stuff as well. You know, is whatever pays the bills at the time, and I've done stuff on my own. Like I've been a department of one on proper stuff that goes onto TV, like live air. I did a show where I was doing fires on my own, which is something you shouldn't really do because it should be a minimum of 2. Because obviously you've got a gas element and you've got the lighting element, which really they want to be 2 separate people communicating rather than one person doing it with a firelighter instead of instead of actually a person. But and I've done rain on my own, which is just crazy because you've got a whole series of systems. You've got rain stands as well as a manifold, and then you've got a Bowser which controls the flow to the manifold of the water and all that. And that was difficult to do on my own. I had to teach a PA how to operate the manifold and the medic on site how to operate the Bowser, so I could get going with what the DOP wanted for the rain on the house at the time. And it was just crazy. But I'm used to it. I wouldn't say I thrive on it, but I can handle it. So it wasn't that much of an issue. The only thing that was a bit tricky for me out on the movie, on the Game Chasers movie, was being in a country where everything is called something different. All the
Like
stuff that
football.
I'm used to. Yeah. You guys totally get that wrong. But with even the simplest things like a spanner, which you guys call a wrench, you know, so it's crazy things like that. So I'm looking for equipment and I'm asking people for these equipment things and in metric measurements and so and people are just like, sorry, what are you looking for? And it's like it's simple. It's this. I just want this.
It's almost like you need a translator when you go shopping.
I kind of did. It's like it's like with the smoke fluid I had to use. It's like you've got completely different rules to what we've got in the UK, and it was crazy that I had to explain that I couldn't use particular materials out there because they're quite dangerous in terms of how the different film bodies operate. I guess it's like what's deemed acceptable in one country isn't deemed acceptable in another, and it was just
metric is superior, by the way. I'm with you on that.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my computer's just gone a bit weird.
I was gonna say it froze there for a second.
Yeah, it's funny that even here in the U.S., the U.S. military uses metric.
Yeah. I'm back.
But yeah,
when you first go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say when he first said spanner, if he would have asked me on set, could you hand me the spanner? I would think he was making a Star Wars joke.
Hydro spanner, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, now that he said that, the wrench, I just made like a way bigger connection. I'm like, oh,
well,
hydro wrench.
I would probably say adjustable or an AJ, which is an adjustable spanner, which is literally just an adjustable wrench for you guys. So it's
Why didn't you tell me? We could have gotten you a pencil, a little notepad, and you could just draw.
And you
well,
go, I need
Draw a
this.
tool. I need.
Etch a sketch.
Jay and Salsa brought me like a little book of Americanisms, so I was actually using that a little bit, which was quite interesting.
Cool.
I don't actually know what that book is. But.
You guys have the best slang though, because when I was in Singapore playing video games with the guys over there, one of the guys was from the UK, and when we would get our asses kicked, he's like, "Oh, we got fucking rinsed." I was like, "What?" He goes,
Yeah.
"We got rinsed." I was like, "That's awesome. I love that."
Yeah, we got loads. We got absolutely railed. That's one I like using. Or
We got
destroyed.
fucking rinsed.
I want to say hello to Eagle Ford and Fist of Bucho in chat. By the way, in chat, if you guys, any of these guys, you can do exclamation point in their first name, and it will bring up a link to, whatever, either their Instagram or their Twitch.
My OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's actually a cool little function. And of course, if you do exclamation point movie, it brings up the Indiegogo for the post production on the Game Chasers movie, which is always appreciated and helpful. Also, Weasley Games 123 followed, so thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, so kind of hinging off of that whole idea of the Department of One thing, does that help you like in the future? Is that something that like, well, I was the guy that did everything on the Game Chasers movie? I mean, is it something that is it sort of like I was the special effects supervisor on the Game Chasers movie?
I could definitely put those in the credits at the end.
We should just make up our own titles at this point. Like,
yeah, I mean, the Overlord of VFX. I like that. I like that. Y'all, you guys get with me. I'll make it happen for sure.
Well, I mean, for me, it's not really too much of an issue because I mean, I get my work by getting calls or I'll call up people that I know that will be working on the film, and I'm myself not at a level where I would run something like big anyway. I mean, as I said before, I've done TV shows where I've been on set on my own, but I wasn't the boss. Even though the boss wasn't there physically, it's still somebody else who I'm working for at the time. So if I needed something, I would call up and be able to source it. So I just seen Yoda. And you completely pumped me off, Yoshi. Right, it's your turn.
Now, so Yoshi, I mean, you're I guess, I don't know if you have like a specific title that you kind of say, but I'm 3D generalist. I mean, I think is what I keep.
I'm a generalist.
Right.
Pretty much. The term not really known too much outside of the industry.
Right. But it just means that you can do anything. You can do
pretty much
anything you want to do. Is there something that you prefer though? Is there a wheelhouse that you like to stay in?
My specialty is hard surface and environment. Hard surface specifically meaning like anything man-made, robots, spaceships, cyborgs. So stuff I like,
Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Robo penises, you name it. I can do a digital crotch bulge reduction, which I don't know why we had to do so much of it in the Game Chasers movie, but
right.
Yeah, reduction. That's the one. That's the one where you take off, right?
It's everybody would stop walking around with tents all day. It wouldn't be an issue, but I don't know.
Yeah, and Bucho said that Generalist is one rank up from Colonelist.
Yeah, above lieutenantist.
Right. But so Billy, I guess like when it came time to say, okay, this is what I want. Did you try to use like their terminology, or did you just say, you know what, I'm just going to tell them exactly what I want and they can run with it?
No, I mean, I just let them do their thing, right?
Right.
I mean, they They know what they're doing in their respective departments, and I'm not gonna sit there and like tell them how to run their business. I mean, I kind of, Yoshi knows what I want, and Leon knew what I want in terms of, we had talked about it beforehand. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm like, it was like a trust. He's like, I know Leon's going to do what he wants to do to make it look good. He's got his best interest is to make the movie look the best he possibly can. Trust him to do it. I don't. Who am I to say otherwise or do otherwise?
Well, I mean, like, I guess what it was like, for example, like with Leon, there's a difference between haze and smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
right, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, did you?
I know that now. By the way, I didn't know that going in.
I didn't know it either. So it was like that's the kind of thing that kind of interests me is like at a certain point, like I guess I'm thinking like in terms of Blockbuster, right? As a manager, I wanted to know everything that everybody else was doing. And so as the director, in a way, you're kind of you're the leader of the ship, right? So it's I guess my thinking was, did you do any kind of thinking of, okay, I need to use the correct terminology, I need to use the, you know what I mean?
Not really. I mean, we're all amongst friends here,
Right.
No, so it wasn't something that I think if I had been on a set where I didn't, I weren't buds with everyone,
Right.
I mean, I try to approach it a little more professionally, but with something like this, I mean, yeah, I really wasn't too worried. I mean, because I don't think Leon's going to judge me if I call that a doohickey, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or I need some more puff over here in this area, so. Yeah, I did. No, it did. None of that even crossed my mind at any point.
I've had a director say to me before, like to do welding, and it goes, yeah, weld, and I was using an angle grinder. I wasn't even using a welder. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that. So believe me, it's like it wouldn't have mattered, and I wouldn't bother you anyway. It wouldn't have been in my best interest at any point to bother a director. I wouldn't come up to a director and bother. If I were to speak to anybody directly, it would be the DOP.
Yeah,
which was obviously Peter, who would then convey things with you, because that's a sort of hierarchy that obviously you experienced on the set, which the hierarchy is there. There are the adults, which would be you, Peter, Rudy. They're considered the adults, and really the supervisor can talk to them, which technically, being a department of one, I could have spoken to you, but I kind of knew what you were going for, and I would speak to Peter just to double check that it was what he was after, and I would kind of just do my thing, because I mean, Atmos really, to get the mood that you wanted for particular scenes. If you wanted it different, then by all means would have done it, but I was just playing it by eye.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed that myself. I don't think there was any point during the whole, in any scene, where I was like, I looked at the haze and I was like, that's too much or that's not enough. I was never even crossed my mind. It was just, Leon's gonna do the haze, and then Peter, he's gonna see what it looks like in the camera, and they're gonna, like, that was so that I had so much on my mind to begin with. I have to remember when I'm in the scene, I'm remembering where I want everybody stepping, and then my lines, and that's the only things that are going through my mind. So it comes to a point where you have to shut some things off. So maybe that would have changed if I was just straight directing it, and I would have been able to.
That's precisely why I wouldn't have come to speak to you, because I could see how busy you were, and you didn't want me coming over with my inane problems, like, oh, the wind's not working for me. It would just be like, right, okay, I'll move around, I'll try and find where the wind direction is, and I'll get it in. If it doesn't come in, if the smoke doesn't come in for a few seconds, sorry, that's the way the wind goes. So it's like, it's literally how it is. And to be honest, atmosphere anyway, if you look at natural atmos in the world, it doesn't come in free flowing all the time. It is broken up, and it is relatively constant, but
just one cloud in the background.
That's it. You can't just that's why I remember when we spoke about this before, when Rudy said to me, it's like, stop moving around when they were filming. It's like, I have to move around because I can't just be in one spot. I have to move. So I was trying to like jump around like Bambi, trying on my tiptoes, trying to avoid all the twigs that were on the floor, as well as getting smoke into the shot. And I was like, oh god.
Yeah. It was in the forest at night, so you could hear a crunch of leaves.
Yeah.
50 meters away. So
just make sure you use the right terminology with Leon, because
I'd say feet. I wouldn't say meters, but yeah,
Good.
There we go. It's so confusing. Now, Yoshi, you've spent like a lot of time on different kind of sets, right?
Mhm.
Just different.
Well, not as much as Leon, but
Well, right. But how, like, from your perspective, were you like, what did you think about the way that the Game Chasers set was? Because you were only there for what, 2 days, right?
yeah, 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, like, what
I mean,
did you?
it's no different than any other set, I would say. It's all the same stuff. It's a bunch of there's a portion of the people that work all the time, and then there's a portion sitting around waiting all the
Mhm.
time, and that's just kind of how it goes. You know, functionally, it didn't seem any different than any other set. So
Well, that makes me
I
feel
guess not
better.
much to say. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, to me, it's, dude, I can't wait to do it again. Like, I want to do it again, like as quickly as I can. It was a lot of fun. The only thing that I will say is, like Billy, you, like, how much of a break did you actually get? Like, even when you weren't being asked a question from one of the, like Peter or Rudy or anybody, you were still having to think about, okay, I need to make sure that when we get this next shot, that it matches up. And I mean, did you have all of that stuff in your head, or were you just trying to I'm just gonna do one day at a time? Like, how was your thought process there?
Mine, scattered, scattered in fragments here and there, and sometimes you go in the day and it's impossible to put them all together. So you just pray that it all works out. I was in the fortunate position that Rudy took on a little bit more than I think you would normally see from a first AD. I would assume. I haven't been on many sets, but I would assume he, because he was just wanting to make sure that I got everything I needed for editing. Same thing with Peter, and it was great to have a director of photography that's I think probably a lot more involved in making and working with Rudy, because they knew that I couldn't concentrate on everything.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting there in line in the scene trying to get my lines right, and at least be presentable on camera, because if that doesn't work, then it's kind of all for naught anyway. So I'm just doing my best to just look. This is what the actors are going to do. This actor's going to go this way. This actor's going to go this way. This guy's going to say something. This guy's going to say something. As a normal director, I just maybe one or two shots is like, I really like to see it from this angle. I really like to see it from this angle. But to go in my head, okay, I got a wide, I got this coverage, I got this coverage, going down the list and making sure I got every little thing. I could not concentrate that. So I tried, again, it was like a trust thing. I trusted Rudy and Peter to make sure, just give me the basic angles and shots that I need, so I don't get into editing and be like, I'm screwed. And then if we have time, if I do my performances right and everyone does their performances right and we get the shots all done on time, then I'll come back and say, can I get some extra? Did we get this? Do we have time to get this? Can I get a special, or can we do this one again and get a close up of someone's reaction? So it was a lot of just total trust, because I had no other choice. But yeah, it was a lot of thinking about that particular day, but also I was thinking like 3 days in advance, because I'm like, this scene that we're going to have to shoot 3 days from now, it's sunny, and right now we're shooting in overcast, cloudy conditions, and those two scenes have to butt up against each other like they're minutes apart. How do you explain that? So I'm thinking of things that I can do. Okay, is there something we can shoot here? How are we going to do this? Because that makes no sense. You have to do something. change a line. It was like that day, also like when the airplanes started coming over and screwing up the entire audio.
Yeah.
And
Holding for
yeah,
sound.
absolutely. Peter had this great idea of like, you know what? You're going to hear the airplanes through most of the shots. Let's get a shot of the airplane. I'm like, yes, dude, let's please. He probably saved my ass because I am actually, in fact, using that as a nice transition from one scene to the next. You see the airplanes go by and you hear them in the shot, so it all makes sense. So it was having those guys really step up and help that just saved me more than a couple of times.
Yeah, and I mean, like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you never really had a break either. I think for the whole like 3.5 weeks of shooting, you were always busy, and it was impressive to watch. But I also like I felt bad that I was just like, wow, this guy's working really hard to obviously bring this together. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like directing and acting at the same time. I mean, I'm neither, and I never will be.
I
It looked difficult.
I will try to avoid that at all costs next time. If I ever do a sequel, I'll just be like a quick cameo. But you know, I don't think I worked much harder than anyone else. It was.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I never once was like, you know, I want to sit down and rest, blah blah blah. I was just like, I was so focused. I didn't really think about being tired. And that, as weird as that sounds, I just never felt tired because I was so stressed. Yes, tired. I can't. Not really. I don't think there was a day that I went in that I was like, I just want to lay down and go to sleep. And then I was so tired. Maybe, you know, waking up in the morning early sucked, but yeah, when I was on set and everything, if I'd gotten 2 hours sleep that night, I didn't feel it. In fact, even after the show, the entire shoot, I was like, I'm just going to sleep for a week. Screw it. And then like I rest a day, and then I'm editing the damn thing a day later because I can't keep my mind off of it.
But that's what I mean. If we had a break in shooting, like if they were lighting another shot, so we had, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes of downtime or stuff like that. So we'd go over to the craft services, you know, get a coffee, get a cake or something like that. You didn't really have that break. You were still in your own mind thinking about the next thing to do. So you were doing the whole 12-hour day without a break, really. And it was just something I noticed when I was on set, and I was like, wow, that guy has a hard job.
There's always something to think about when you're in my position.
That's what I mean.
I just remember there was it was one day, it was at the well, it was right next to craft services, next to the little fire pit that was there. Seemed dangerously close to the. Anyway.
Oh, the one we made just to stay warm. It wasn't for the scene. Right, it wasn't for the shot. It was we just made it cold to not die.
But but it was one night where, you know, same kind of thing, like what you're talking about, Leon, where it was like we're, you know, just kind of hanging out and just kind of cutting up and, you know, being whatever. And I look over at Billy, and he's just kind of standing there looking at nothing. And I just go up to him and I go, hey, how's it going? And you go, yeah. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, it's like, I knew, it's just, he was so in that moment or in that focus, you know what I mean? That it was
I don't remember that. I don't remember that particular incident.
Well, I mean, dude, there were plenty of them where I'd go, hey, Billy, how's it going? Oh, pretty good.
Probably just trying to remember my damn lines.
Well, but it's one of those things where, you know, like from my perspective, again, I was trying to sort of help be your eyes a little bit and try to just say, okay, well, at least this scene, you know, like all the lines in this whole scene has changed, but at least the point of the scene is intact. So that makes sense. And you know what I mean?
It's always so great to have somebody keep track of all that, because sometimes things are changed like that particular day, and then you have to, you know, it takes more than one brain to sometimes go, Oh, hold on. No, if we change that word, then that screws up scene 83.
Well, and there was only one time where somebody ad-libbed something where I was like, you can't do that. And they were like, why? And I said, because it hasn't happened yet. You're referencing something that hasn't happened yet. Even though we filmed it.
That actually.
And they were like, oh yeah. Okay, cool. So they just did something else. No big thing. But it was one of those things where that was only one time that happened, but I don't know. I just think it's one of those, even though we all saw it, you know, anybody that was on set, we saw Billy working, but wow, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. So, Leon, what was your, and I might know the answer to this, but what was your biggest challenge? Was it well, I'll just let you go. What was your biggest challenge?
If you want to say torches, you could say torches. It's not really going to be much of a spoiler. So,
well, I mean, yeah, the torches were in the in the teaser. I think when I was building them, that I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah,
the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
footage?
The behind the scenes were when
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Commoners.
Yeah. So everybody's a warrior, aren't they? But yeah, when I was building the torches and obviously did the tests, and they worked absolutely fine. So that wasn't the issue. Obviously, down the line when we actually went to actually use the torches, there had been a location issue that had come out of nowhere, really. By, I guess, the proprietors of the location.
Right.
They just decided to install what I think I counted 15 fire alarms.
It was a lot.
In the set. I've never seen so many fire alarms. Smoke alarms. And I had to break it to everybody that even though the torches are a fuel that I'm not going to obviously explain what we used, but yeah, the fuel that we were using will give off a little vapor, because obviously we were using like ceramics and stuff like that, so it's not actually burning as such, but it would still give off some element of fumes, so there is a chance that it could have still set it off. And
if the fire extinguishers go off, folks, that means the entire night's shoot is ruined, or even if the fire department even comes out, because they basically tell you to pack up and the night's ruined.
Yeah, which is completely different to the UK, which is what I didn't understand at the time. It's like, because we can isolate fire alarms. We don't have to call the fire department. We can literally isolate the fire alarms and literally shut them off, and then do our thing.
Right.
And then we take responsibility for what happened until they're back on. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that. I wasn't obviously in the know, because it's a foreign country to me, so I didn't know the rules. And then when it came to something else to use for the scene, which obviously I won't go into, it then became a question of, oh right, well Leon, here's this, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to touch it because I have no idea what it is. And if it then ruins the shot or causes any issue at all, that becomes that instantly falls on me for agreeing to it. And if it's something that I haven't tested, it kind of it seemed like I was being difficult at the time, I think, to a couple of people, but I really wasn't trying to be. It was just, you don't want to. It's why we do testing. We test stuff to make sure it works, so people aren't waiting for us and stuff like that, and so things happen safely. And if something gets brought in that's brand new and isn't going to set off fire alarms or anything like that, which technically it still could have, then it just makes things very difficult, and you are the one to blame if you agree to it. And I just wasn't going to step up and take the responsibility for it. And to be honest, I was a little pissed that I couldn't use the torch. I couldn't give you what you wanted, and that was bugging me, and it did annoy me, which was nobody on set's fault. It really wasn't. It was the decision that was made was the right one. It was just that at the time it was very frustrating.
Yeah, and it sucks is because the scene would have been so much better with torches.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I was in the same country, if there hadn't been a pandemic, and we could have done reshoots with, I would have been more than happy to like make the scene again. I mean, yeah, we wouldn't have had the cool camera, but I could have made the torches, or we could have salvaged them again. I could have used them. It would have been perfect. Could have still done it, but yeah, with the issue that I know thousands of miles away, it becomes a bit trickier, and obviously with lockdowns and everything.
Can you say what you ended up using or doing, or did you guys just
It was
nix the torches?
It was, instead of having a torch, they're carrying lanterns.
Lantern.
Yeah,
well, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but I can't really get into the reasons without spoiling anything. But the series of events kind of it leaves a little bit more open to like how would
That's
that
too bad.
happen?
If you guys could have had just like a light at the end of the torch, that's all I would have needed. CG fire is easy.
Yeah, I think I did talk about that at the time, but the only issue with that would have been without discussing it with you, because obviously it was so late at night when we were actually filming this. And it became an element of, okay, Yoshi would probably be able to recreate this, but you've got so much lighting that real fire would create in a dark room that how much would you want to spend on that particular scene? Because that's
exactly what I was saying. Is like, if you had maybe some kind of flickering light at the end, that's the only thing I think of. But like, how quickly you're going to get that together and rig that up?
And you remember, Chris could have probably done that too. He could with his.
Oh well, but we have it. It's up there. We're using it in the scene now. Because what happens is actually going to be put in post, but we did that. We got the little light with the flicker and created the ambience in that one. It's just one shot, but it's that one shot. I don't know what we would have used at the time to have like a torch and to put a light on there that would have been wireless, because there would have been a wire and stuff. I just don't know what we would have used. And at that time we were just so, this was a process that kept on going. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We can't do this. And we just circle jerked for like a couple of hours. It's like, look, we just got to do something. This is let's just do this and be done with it. We just didn't have the.
I mean, with hindsight, that there's a lot of things that I could have done if I had come onto the project earlier, which is obviously it was impossible. I wasn't even aware of the project even happening at the time. So yeah, but if I had come out maybe for a few weeks, I could have made a couple of rigs to preempt what happens if this happens, and what happens if this happens. Which is
movie magic for you, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's what happens. It's what we actually do. I mean, the amount of curveballs that we get thrown when we're on set anyway. We're always prepared for the next curveball. It's like, well, actually, I want this, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, I told you about the flaming sword, didn't I? I think I was telling you, Robbie.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like literally got told. It's like, I need a flaming sword now, and it's like, what? And it's like, you've got 20 minutes. It's like, it's like, just go on the back of the truck. It's like, right, make a flaming sword. And yeah, I mean, I did it. It wasn't great, but it worked. It's like, and that was done in 20 minutes. But I mean, you just got to be prepared for these things. But when I am out of my element in a different country, it did prove a bit more difficult. And
yeah, I mean, because usually, I mean, on a movie set with a budget, you're gonna the special effects, they're gonna be having to sit down and having pre-production meetings, tons of pre-production meetings, that goes on weeks before the shooting. Leon came in so late, it was just time to do much. In fact, I didn't have much time to talk to him beforehand about anything, because we had to rearrange, get plane tickets and like where to go, hotels, because we're putting up into, least that we could do is give him a hotel room. And so there was all this stuff that, and Leon, being the professional that he is, he knew, like he was saying, the hierarchy or whatever. He made it a point to only come to me when absolutely necessary through the whole process of that beforehand, because he knew I was dealing with so much when pre-production stuff. So he just like, give me the name of the line producer. I'll go straight to her. And then so she was there to get Leon everything and coordinate everything and all that stuff. So I didn't have to do that because obviously I can't do everything. So
well, yeah, that's it. And I mean, when I did actually come out there, I think I landed close to midnight when you picked me up from the airport, and then we had one day, and then we were filming the next day after that. So it's like there wasn't much prep time. I made the torches when I had downtime when we were on set, and I knew we were outside. You didn't require Atmos, so cool. I can start making torches, or just stuff like that. It was like I was trying to work out when I could do things.
Yeah, so. if we had the budget to do reshoots, that would definitely be 1A next to 1B of the scenes that I would be like, this is kind of like not really essential, but if we're going to reshoot something, this definitely would be one of the two. The other one was the really cold day, which I'm sure you don't remember. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely would want to do that again. There's the whole location with the attic. It was just, there were so many problems after problems. I was never happy with anything really. And then she was giving us a hard time beforehand. Paid $500 for that place, and she went and screwed us out. And now I kind of want to just redo the whole thing. Stupid bitch.
And it's like, did you just take that $500 to install fire alarms? Is that?
Yeah, is that what you do? Is that, okay, great, awesome. That's
I don't even
wonderful.
Understand.
Yeah,
unless it was some sort of insurance thing that she was going to try to, like, hopefully we would set something on fire, and then
hopefully we would set something on fire. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but it was so frustrating that entire night. That was definitely, I would say that, I don't know if you even asked me when I was on your show the first time what my worst day. I think that was my worst day. Like if I didn't say it then, I'm thinking about it now. That was my worst absolute day. That honestly, the whole day, not even that, because that was a second part of a location on that day. That first day, things were going wrong. We didn't have time to get the shots that I wanted to get.
The window.
Everyone's like, we have to rewrite this entire scene right now because we don't have time to get it. I was already pissed. You could see me on the porch, like during one shot, and you could just tell I'm done with it. I'm like fucking just rewriting this whole shit, and I'm not even reacting to the lightning. I had to get out of it, like, because I was pissed. Like my director part of myself was overshadowing everything else, and I was just so fucking pissed. And I could point it out to you next time you look at it. This is the shot right here. I'm absolutely done. So yeah, that whole day sucked. Luckily though, at the first location, it kind of still worked out. Everything was great, but that second location with the torches and everything, it's just, I'm not happy with it.
That first location was it almost felt like a whole day of shooting in its own. It felt like an extended day of, obviously because we were doing a night, and nights always feel longer. But there was a lot going on at that location, and obviously it had to be done. So it was shot to shot to shot to shot. There wasn't much downtime, and then obviously we move locations, and then this gets dropped on us, and it was just like, it was a slap in the face when everybody's tired, and it was just difficult.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. You add that to it. Everyone's tired. This is a debate. People are getting angry. It's hot in that attic.
Yeah.
And it was like 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
I just remember by the end of it, I mean, Rudy and I were both like, we were sitting on that couch, just kind of like, oh my god, dude, that was
dusty couch.
That was one of the roughest nights, and I think it's just the fact that everything, like you said, it's like everything happened, bam, 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 one thing after another. The move in itself was kind of a pain.
Mhm.
And then getting up there.
Yeah.
And
What did it take? Like 2 hours for a move, even though it was like 2 or 3 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if we had tried to do some of that other stuff that we had to basically, think on the fly of, let's try to do it. We got to do this over here now.
The original way that the script was written, that had to be changed, that would have taken all day just to shoot the original, because there were some things involved. There was some quasi almost stunts, not quite, sort of stunts.
Right.
There's a little bit of hazard involved too, and it just simply came down to time. When you're on a small budget, every minute counts, because we don't have safety days. We can't come back and be like,
oh, it's raining.
It's raining. Let's shoot this another day,
Yeah.
or this, we didn't get enough of this. Can we just hold off this next scene and shoot it another day? I really need to finish this. You just got to get it, and then that's it.
And there was sweet corn in my cottage pie.
I don't. If that's not how you usually get it,
and
I don't
also,
know. I loved it.
I did have a discussion with catering, that because I said this is cottage pie, and she's like, yeah, and I was like, it tastes like lamb. She's like, yeah, and it's like, that's shepherd's pie. And I just seemed like an asshole, because I was just like, that's actually shepherd's pie. And it's like, and in England we don't put sweet corn in shepherd's pie or cottage pie. I wasn't trying to be a dick. It was just like, I was cold, I was hungry. It was actually really nice. It's just I detest sweet corn. It's like,
Really?
why is there sweet corn in my cottage pie?
That's such a weird thing to detest.
I was just having a diva moment. Yeah, it's like which obviously I had many on set, as you know.
Oh yeah, clear, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was such a pain. Such a pain in the ass.
I was an asshole. Yeah, it's like, do you know who I am?
That's not how we do things on the Game of Thrones.
I've worked on Game of Thrones. Yeah.
I once made a flaming sword in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Don't fuck with me.
Wait, who's talking here? Is it Billy or Leon?
Now,
hey, Yoshi, I forgot you were still here. Hey.
All right. I don't have a cool accent. No.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, but you got that nice deep voice, that soothing voice that we discussed. Oh my gosh. Now, here's a question, because here's the deal. The full disclosure, there's not a whole lot we can discuss, simply because the movie's not done, right? So I was thinking of some kind of different kind of questions, sort of general questions. So Yoshi, I mean, this is really for everybody, but Yoshi, I wanted to get your take on this, because I was thinking about this today. In previous interviews I've done, a lot of people have said that once they work on a movie, they can't see a movie the same way anymore, right? You're constantly going, oh, well, they didn't do that right, or this is a little off, or oh, the effects are kind of wonky here. Do you still get sucked into a story, or is it a little more difficult now?
I can. Doesn't change anything for me. In fact, it makes me appreciate movies even more. I can get lost in a movie, or I can watch it subjectively. I think I can kind of turn it on and off. I don't know if other people are the same way, but it makes me appreciate a lot of movies more, because I realize how much goes into it. And I'm sure, like you now and Billy and everyone, I don't know if it makes you guys appreciate it just that bit more, but it's like, now when I watch a movie, it's like, people, oh, why do you like this movie? Why do you like that movie? Or even the subjects with Star Wars, people are like, oh, the movies aren't even that great. I'm like, well, you don't understand them then, because to me, the Star Wars universe has never, for me anyway, been about the movies. Every single new Star Wars property that comes out, think about how much they advance movie making in general. I mean, hell, look at the technology they did for Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's not necessarily about always the story, which is why when you ask me, like, yes, I can get lost in a story, but I can also now appreciate quote unquote good bad movies, good bad flicks, if you will.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's just like every movie now, no matter how bad or how good, I can find something to like about it. Like, oh man, somebody did this. Like somebody took the time, and it's easy to make fun of anybody for any kind of movie, but it's not easy to do. Somebody went out there and did it. And
Right.
that's why, like it's very rare that you'll see me badmouth any movie, really. Not to say there aren't bad movies out there, but
that's funny. I've actually caught myself now because it's I've wanted to say a few things about a movie that I saw and hated, and I'm like, I don't want to be an asshole. I mean, someone worked hard to make that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's I hear exactly what you're saying because I've my gears have switched a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, you realize like how much is really involved and goes into this. And yeah, a few people could drop the ball and your whole movie snowballs now into something you didn't want it to. So it's one of those things where for me, if I don't like the movie, I don't like the movie. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit there and badmouth it. It doesn't make sense to me, especially like Billy said, especially after you work on it, you just have a whole new appreciation for everything that goes into it. So
I don't know if it's the same for you though, Yoshi, but when I see something from like my department, like so even though it's not something I've worked on, so say for instance it was the smoke or the fire effects or anything like that,
or the haze.
Yeah, the haze. But if I see that and it looks bad on something, it will take me out of it. I will point it out or I will notice it. I imagine it's the same for you. Like if you see like a bad rotoscope job or something, it's like
Yeah.
yeah. It's like,
It
obviously
sticks out.
you won't call it out, but you will. It will take you out of the moment.
Yeah,
It definitely
it
does.
does. But thankfully, you gotta, I'm sure you're the same way where you have to train yourself to kind of like ride yourself back into that rail. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that took me out of it, but just let it go. I gotta watch the movie. I'm not gonna let that take me out of it because even in was it Avengers Infinity War,
Mm.
like there's certain scenes that were obviously rushed or they were the last to do. Some of the compositing from different studios wasn't on par, and I'll watch. I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good, and then something will stick out. I'm like, come on, you had one job, man. You had one job. Do it right. That kind of thing. But
yeah. Well, I get the same thing with locations as well. It's like I think like the first proper film I worked on way back when was like the first Captain America film, and when they go to
your
Germany,
first movie is better than my first movie.
but when they go to Germany, it's like you look around and it's like that's the back lot of Pinewood. That's Black Park. That's out the back of Pinewood.
Oh yeah, that's
And
the other downside.
and then you go and you watch Sherlock Holmes 2, I think it is, when they're also in Germany again, and it's just like that's the back lot of Pinewood. That's exactly the same spot. It's the same place, and that takes me out of it a little bit because a lot of locations get shot at because of how they look, at least in the UK, and
Yeah,
they do
I
get
know in the
used for
U.S.
different things. Yeah,
the Universal backlot I see a lot. And it's like I've seen it so many times, and I've been there enough times that now whenever I see it, I know immediately where they're at and what they're filming. And it's like, oh, this is supposed to be France. This is Italy. This is Germany. This is England. And it's like, no, that's the one corner in the back lot. Or there's one studio that they use a lot for smaller projects. It's called what is it? Wow, Laurel Canyon Stages. There we go. Laurel Canyon Stages. They filmed like Serenity there, Firefly, and like there was a recent T-Mobile cellular phone ad that was filmed there, and right away I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's the same set. They just moved this over there.
exactly.
And that's the downside to it.
We did the the Warner Brothers studio in Leavesden, which is just outside London. That we did Fantastic Beasts like way before, and then like there was a street scene, obviously New York, which isn't New York. Obviously, it's in England, and then we did Justice League like later on. Was it later on the same year, or I can't remember. But when we did Metropolis and we did Gotham, it's exactly the same street. It's just
Yeah.
the art department's just come in and just changed a few things. You've got a Gotham City police car in there instead of like the Daily Planet up there or something like that. It's the same street. It's exactly the same street. It's all just It's just
And that's the
it's
downside
fun.
too.
It's cool. It's cool to point out. But most people wouldn't notice it. So.
And then the unfortunate thing is not only me working in entertainment, but where I live, a lot of films are filmed there, and streets and restaurants are always getting shut down to film because I happen to, I live in Southern California, and I'll watch a show, and I guess the wife was watching a show that takes place in Houston, Texas, and I'm like, that is not Houston, Texas. I am from Houston, Texas. That is nowhere in Houston. That has a Texas feel. And I'm looking, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the cowboy boot store down the street. And she goes, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's the boot store 2 blocks from where I live in Southern California. And they used a cowboy boot store because it's supposed to be Houston, Texas.
Oh yeah,
But,
makes sense.
Yeah, right.
It's
Yeah,
like
boots. That's Texas, right?
there was it just reminded me of there was an X-Files episode, I think, that took place in Richardson, Texas. And Billy, you know where Richardson is, right? You know what Richardson looks like. This looked like the most podunk town, and this was supposed to be present day, and it was so bad. And then even the movie, the X-Files movie was supposed to take place in Dallas, and it was like a desert.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, you see like
it was so like, where is
Hello?
this? I can hear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Oh, everything froze. I was talking and everything froze. I couldn't hear anything. Like everything froze for some reason.
Oh, it's just your brain.
No.
Everything kept going for us.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just in a Mandela effect or something. I don't know.
Were you like abducted for a second? And it just
maybe,
like
and then put back.
Yeah.
And they put me back in just a slightly off time frame, like half a second later.
That'd
or
be
something.
a funny prank to play on someone. You have like a fake beard, and like you change your shirt when someone else is talking real quick, and pull off the fake beard, and like, what the fuck?
This is the darkest timeline.
But yeah, it goes back to it actually reminds me of another point that I was going to say, Leon. You talk about like replacing sets. I told Billy I worked in an episode of MacGyver where they filmed in Los Angeles, but I changed it to France. We just changed all the buildings.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of anti-CG people out there like, oh, I can tell when it's CG. I'm like, well, can you tell, or is it because you already know it's CG? Like when we do de-aging on actors, people are looking because they know that's not the actor's age, or they know that actor's dead, or they know something doesn't exist. You're already looking for flaws. But I always bring up the example of how come nobody pointed out the CG dog in Something About Mary? Because nobody knew it was CG. There was no reason to think it would be. Or Pee Wee Herman in his last movie, there's a CG face. He's not that young. The guy's like 60. But no one pointed it out because I guess a lot of people hadn't seen him. So when they saw the movie, they're just like, oh, he looks great for his age.
Wait. How the hell did they have? Wait, hold on. How the hell did they have CGI to do a face and a Pee-wee? Pee-wee's.
Yeah, the last movie came out, 2016, 2017?
Oh, shit. Okay.
The Netflix one?
I thought you meant like Big Top Pee-wee. That was like in the 80s.
No. Well, they wouldn't have to do de-aging if it was in the 80s, would they?
Yeah, well, no, I was so like lost. And I forgot that they had released a new one. I still need to watch that.
They didn't go overboard. He does look older, but if you didn't know what he looked like and you didn't know he was CG, when you watch it, you might be like, oh, he looks great for his age. This works out. But the real reason is obviously the character of Pee-wee, a big man-child, doesn't work when he looks old because it just looks creepy. So we got rid of the wrinkles and like touched them up a bit, and like he has this partial CG de-aged face. It's like
you are right though.
Yeah.
You are right though. I mean, the point of our craft of special effects and visual effects is to do stuff that people don't notice.
Exactly.
And it's like, I mean, yeah, if you see a giant dragon on the screen, of course that's CG. And so, that's a CG dragon. Of course it's a CG dragon. You absolute helmet. Yeah. It's like, but when you say like you've changed buildings to France and stuff like that, it's like you've got to delve into the architecture of it. You've got to see how buildings actually look in France and stuff like that. And
I didn't.
People won't notice that. All right,
I kind of looked at the
Did you just put a load of
feel.
baguette shops or something?
Well, it was like the feel, because France has those it's a unique building type where they're very close together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just basically made a bunch of those and used them like Legos, because it was a car chase scene, so you don't really see it anyway. It's very fast and it follows the cars, so you don't really know where you're at in France. So I was able to just make we call it modular buildings that could link together. I made them in a way that they're like interchangeable pieces, and I can just go boop 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 and just fill them in wherever I wanted.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not how I would work for a movie. This is specifically for television, because I'm on a time crunch. I have like, oh, you have a week to do this.
Yeah.
So, okay, well,
Just
guess
like
we're making a Game Chaser store in the background in France.
Yeah, well, it's the same for special effects. It's like for instance, a fire. Like normally, if you've got a fire in a room, in a fireplace, you wouldn't actually have it on. I think this is different in the States because you've got like bigger chimneys and stuff like that. But in the UK, because of obviously carbon monoxide and stuff like that, it's quite dangerous to have a real fire. So what we'd use is we'd obviously use a gas element, and we'd cover it up with like ceramics and stuff like that, and make it look like a fire. Well,
no, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding,
dude.
No, I got props. I got props for your cops. They don't even carry guns. They're that boss. Just
we don't need them. We don't need them. We just shout at people. We have drive-by arguments.
Clubs and batons and just fisticuffs.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying is like the whole point of what we do is that it's so you don't notice it, and that's the important thing. That's when somebody doesn't notice that it's special effects. I think that's when you know you've done a good job.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And I was actually going to ask, and this is again for all three of you, because like I've been thinking about this kind of stuff all day. But it's like, have you ever thought, or have you ever been taken out of a scene because it's so good? Like it's almost distractingly good.
Yes.
Like what?
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049, the Rachel. When she first stepped in the scene, I knew she was CG, but she stepped in the scene. I'm like, holy crap! They did an amazing job. How did they? It's like I knew it was CG, but at the same time, I'm like struggling to find the flaws now. And I'm like, my friend's like, do you see anything wrong? I'm like, maybe the lips are a little bit off. Like I can't accept that it's that good, because that means I got to step up my game now. And it's like, damn it.
Yeah, that was definitely amazing. Leon, do you have one?
Oh, there's loads of stuff where you know that it's an effect or like a timed explosion or something like that, and you know it's all been carefully created to make it. But when it looks so good, I think Rudy mentioned it, the Dark Knight, the hospital explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it is just a fantastic explosion, and it's and I did actually want to be in the chat for that, because I think he pointed out that it was a mistake with the effects department, which it wasn't. That was planned. I know the guy who did it.
You mean with him?
Yeah, it's a common.
It was completely planned. It's a myth that it didn't go off, and he was like.
I knew about that too, actually.
Yeah, that's not. It's not a. It is a myth.
The way he plays it though, it actually looks. It's so good.
He's meant to. He's meant to play like that. That's the thing. But the explosion as well. That's a lot of that is CG.
I mean, it's only like the first floor that's real, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no, the second floor is real, but the windows aren't there. And it's like all the windows and the glass effects when they blow out and stuff like that. It's like that's completely CG. And it's like, but the explosion is real. That was done in England. And
that's some of the best stuff now is combination, like the tower falling in Ready Player One, if you guys remember that.
Yep.
That was a combination of practical and CG.
Because that was done. That was done the back of Leavesden Studios, because we were filming Justice League next to that. I accidentally cut through the Ready Player One set, not realizing that it wasn't Justice League. And I kind of walked through, you know where they have all the pods where they're in the VR thing. I walked through there, and you get in a lot of trouble for going on someone else's set, because basically you are trespassing. It's like even if you're at the studio, and I was just walking through, and I was like, oh shit, this isn't my film.
It's amazing how easy it is to do.
It is. I managed to sneak onto Prometheus back when I was on
Rob's gonna try to go on other sets now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Have to get to LA first.
I won't mention the guy's name, but a friend of mine when I was on Dark Shadows, Prometheus was obviously being filmed, and I was a big Aliens fan. So it goes, do you want to go see the set? And it's like, are we allowed? It's like, just grab a spanner. It's like, so just grab the spanner, and security look, they see you got a spanner, they see you walking, and it's like, oh, they won't stop you.
They don't know everyone's face.
Just walk straight in. It's like, it was great. It just got to walk around all the tunnels and all that, because it was all in the Bond stage, which is
all you need is a headset, Rob.
Yeah. That's it.
Maybe I could
walk around.
Go rent one from Rudy.
Like no shit. You need a headset and like a clipboard. You're good.
I got my haunted clipboard right here, so I think we're good.
Get a random black T-shirt that says "crew" in white on it. That's all you need.
I've turned up to a job before where I've gone for breakfast, realised that I don't know anybody on the crew, and I'd gone to the wrong film, but I'd still managed to get breakfast. It's nice. But the thing was that there was two studios that were very close together, and I hadn't been to either one. It was literally my first day on the film. And I got in there, and I was like, where is everybody? And I get a phone call going, where are you? It's like, I'm on stage A. It's like, there is no stage A. It's like, well, that's where I am. It's like, what studio are you at? And it's like, oh yeah, very funny, very funny. It's like, no, you're at the wrong studio. You're about half a mile away. It's like, oh shit. But good breakfast. It was nice. So it was all right.
See, the one that I was thinking of, and Billy, I'll let you go after. The one that I was thinking of was the Game of Thrones season 8, and it's the scene. It's just a beautifully, just the way that it's framed. Everything is just beautiful. It's when Daenerys is walking and the dragon takes off behind her. I had to pause it and just sit there and look at it, and then I rewinded it, and it's Ready Player One is another one where almost the whole movie I'm like, I can't even get into this movie because I'm too busy doing the Leo meme, I mean, just it's constant. But
and that I mean, obviously being on set at the time that there was no dragon there, it's a guy who comes in with a stick and balls.
He's going right behind him.
What in the hell was that?
What?
Like that came out of you?
Yeah.
Do it again.
It's like
I don't know if
dragon noise.
I don't know. I just.
I think that was like an accidental. Yeah, there you go.
No, I can do it. It's a
little,
yeah.
A little
it's like
pterodactyl.
See, now I'm
predator noise or something.
I don't know. I was just thinking of some guy in the background. Yeah. But like Billy, like what? I mean, has there been
Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
I can't. I've been sitting here trying to think about one, and I can't really recall that for me. Of getting like taken out of the movie in terms of like seeing something that was so great. I have caught myself now when I watch a movie, paying way more close attention to like nuances in the editing. Like how they do certain cuts, how the music interacts a lot more with a particular scene, like, and how it
cuts go to the music. You ever notice that it cuts on beat?
It's yes, and and it's something that I picked up on while editing, because I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. Like I need to. And then as you watch movies, you start picking up on that. Just the small things that you don't really notice until you sit there and really kind of like there are some times where I was watching a movie and it's like, wow, it's really the music made that cut more than the actual cut itself. The way the way it builds up and brings that, and lets something's about to happen. So I've oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you take the John Williams score out of like Star Wars or something like that, it becomes a completely different film.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like you ever seen that fan edit of the Shining trailer? Like they made it more of like
a comedy,
family movie.
Yeah.
Just by changing the music.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
That was one of my
And then
They were great. Didn't they do a Back to the Future one with the Terminator like crossover as well?
That sounds
maybe, I don't know.
amazing.
It was fantastic. I can't remember it, but it was the same sort of trailer. I'll find out what it is. Carry on talking without me. I'll try and find what it is. So.
Well, I was just trying to figure out why the trailer, my trailer event is gone. Where you could just watch the trailer, the Game Chasers trailer if you wanted. But I just tried it and it's not working. I wonder if Nightbot is down. Somebody say something terrible. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Let me try a different one. Nope, it's working. Huh.
And I feel.
But yeah, I mean, just for me, just the whole idea of just noticing how things are edited, so I can just kind of, because you run into certain challenges and things like you sit there and for me, and I'm like, is this the right thing, or I don't know if this feels right, and then so you really start taking inspiration and cues from other things out there, and that's kind of what I've been doing. But I honestly, I haven't really been watching a lot of movies. Outside new things, just the movies I've been watching recently, I say over the last like 6 months or so, just more of my favorite stuff, the stuff that I'm inspired by, and I'm like, I just watch it and I kind of pick up on some of the things that they do.
Yeah, and it's.
Have you seen the?
Oh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Have you seen the Art of Self-Defense? Billy? So, if you're into lighting, DP work, stuff like that, framing, that's one to watch. And then I would say even little things like the way shots are framed, little things like that. Like there's a scene in the movie where he gets his yellow belt, and you'll notice like at the end of the hall there's like a yellow light, little things like that. Or when he's like dealing with someone who's dangerous, you might notice like, oh, there's a tinge of a red rim light, and just little things like that you don't pick up on right away, and until you make your own movie, you're like, wow. And that's what the guy that does James Cameron's lighting. My friend Dan told me like James Cameron describes him as painting with light. And if you watch like Terminator 2 and just watch, just every time a cut changes from one angle to the other, the lighting completely changes. It is not consistent, but you never notice because it's the lighting is set up for each and every individual shot carefully to make it look absolutely beautiful. You can take a still frame from any shot in Terminator 2 and it looks great.
Yeah, that's we Chris did that on Chris Vaughn, our gaffer.
Yeah,
did that for us. It was even if the lighting, we had the wide shot, the lighting was set up for the wide shot, and then as you go into individual coverage, he would move. Obviously, you still need to move the light, but he wouldn't try to match it exactly to the light that was there. It was like, what does this look best as right here?
Yeah.
When you're looking at it this way. It makes coloring it harder, but overall, it's worth it in the end. I think some people are going to be more like it needs to be technically right and all that. And me, yeah, I'm with you. It's just whatever looks the best is what.
Exactly. I agree. You do what works.
And with editing, I think that that's something that I've been, I wouldn't say like specifically paying attention to, but it's one of those things where like sometimes it's better to show, and it could be because somebody screwed up something, or maybe they said something wrong and they want to get the other shot from the other person's, like the other person reacting, not the person talking. But that kind of stuff it can actually be very, very emotional, depending on how you do it. It can really change or it can, I guess, boost the impact of an emotion or whatever that you're trying to, push to the audience by doing it that way. And it's just like, it's so cool to watch some of that stuff. And I've always kind of paid attention to that, but it's almost like, man, it's just all of that stuff is in the forefront now. It's like every time I watch something, I'm just like, wow, that's so good. That's
well, it kind of, like when you were talking about like taking things out, like that's kind of what I did in a particular scene. It was dialogue between me and Jay interspliced, and as a conversation. I ended up taking most of my dialogue out, and it wasn't because I hated it. It was just like honestly, it's better if I'm not really saying much of anything. And a lot of what I was saying was too exposition-y anyway. So I'm like, just take it out. It's gonna
More efficient.
It's well, yeah, but more than that, it's going to
Flows better.
it flows better, but it conveys more of the emotion. It's like you're seeing the emotion and not having to hear what the emotion is verbally.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Um,
things like that. It's what a lot of storytellers deal with when deciding whether to use like a flashback scene versus telling the history in another way. You know, like, oh, this guy was let's say you wanted to say this guy was a Navy SEAL. You could either do a flashback scene or walk by a Navy SEAL certificate hanging on the wall. You know, it boils down to what's going to flow better for your story.
yeah.
Or you could lazily do it and just have someone come in and go, "Hey, remember that time when you were a Navy SEAL?" Which
Well,
does happen.
movies do that too.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get really, really horrible with the dialogue, man. So I'm about to head out to my Navy SEAL reunion that's going on right now because I was once a Navy SEAL and did Navy SEAL things.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
You were a Navy SEAL, huh?
I was a Navy SEAL.
And there are plenty of movies like that are just like you watch them and you just go, wow.
I do. Okay, I have to recommend something here now that we're talking movies. So Red Letter Media.
Oh yeah.
You're
you're late to the party, Bill.
I just discovered that they are amazing. Now I knew that they existed, but I never really sat down and really. I'm going to sit there and just watch a bunch of this stuff. After about the first half of Best of the Worst, I was hooked on the series, and I can't stop watching Best of the Worst now.
Oh, dude, half in the bag. That's what got me.
Half in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they're just dickheads. The review films, and it's brilliant. They're both.
I love
great.
them so much that I can't watch when they review something I've worked on. Because I already know.
Yeah. No, I've made the mistake of doing that as well, and it's like well, that's
like when Rise of Skywalker came out, I already knew. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah, no, I think they reviewed Justice League, and it was like, cool, thanks.
Yeah, I think that's what I like most about they're dickheads, but they're still likable.
Yeah, no, they're brilliant. I really and it's kind of fun as well to watch something because I'll see like a video of theirs go up for a movie that I want to watch, and I won't watch it, and then I'll watch it. I'll have my own opinion. I'll be like, I wonder if they've got the same opinion, and it's kind of cool that it's like, yes, they point out the same thing. It's it was just an interesting show to watch. I very much enjoy it, and obviously the the fact that they really don't care that they'll occasionally delve into the story arc that they have with Mr. Plinkett or whatever, and then they'll just be like, yeah, Jay, I mean Johnny, or he's like, what's your name again? I was like, and it's just brilliant. It's just so effortlessly done. It's brilliant.
The way they do kind of like their bits where it's obviously scripted, but they're trying to make it look like it's really bad acted scripted stuff. Where they're like, so we're about to play Plinketto, and then just kind of stare away awkwardly, like an actor who doesn't know how to act. It's just it's brilliant.
It's clever.
Yeah, it is very clever. It's definitely a show to watch. If you have never seen Red Letter Media, go watch them. They're great.
But anyway, it kind of
we're doing our own kind of right now, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we are.
Kind of
Blue Number.
What's that?
We're Blue Number Media. How about that?
Sure, why not?
Blue. One thing though is like seeing all these really horrible movies that they watch for the most part on Best of the Worst. It makes me feel a lot better probably because this is actually competently made. You may not like the story or anything, but you can't say that it's not competently made. And I'm watching and I'm looking at all this other stuff and I'm like, I don't even understand what was going through their head here.
Well, it's like go ahead.
I've seen a lot of their stuff where they do like a behind the scenes of the movies that they make in their warehouse that they've got, and just some of the sets they build are actually they're really good, and some of the stuff they do is brilliant.
They are.
And
I'm jealous. That's what I've always wanted to do with the YouTube channel, is to have a studio where, you know, we could just go and film things in a big studio and just like have places to do sets. It'd be so awesome.
I used to do something similar, like before I properly got into special effects, I used to do music videos, I used to, for like Kerrang TV and like I don't know if you guys had like Scuzz or P-Rock out there, but yeah, like so like metal and punk bands, I would come onto the show, I'd come onto the video, and we'd be building sets and doing all sorts of stuff like that, and it was that was great to do. And it's kind of the same sort of vein, like you'd go to one empty building, and then all of a sudden you're making a set, so you're inside a house, you know, and it's and you get all the creativity that you can do, and it's nice to have that freedom.
Yeah,
and
it is,
which you would be able to have if you had your own studio. So yeah,
it is. It's been something I've wanted to do for a while, and I think I would be a lot more. It'd be a lot easier to do some of the videos I want to do and work with all the other guys and stuff, instead of just trying to do everything we want to do and try a bedroom essentially right now.
You can do it. It's Friday night. You can do it live. Like
live studio audience.
A little applause light.
Right.
Yeah. But no, you know, it's yeah, like I said, it'd be cool.
I was gonna
anyway. Red Letter Media, everyone.
I was gonna say, I think a movie that if you haven't checked it out, you need to, and this goes for the audience as well. Train to Busan.
Oh, fantastic film!
Oh my,
amazing film!
Gosh,
yeah.
I watched it before I became a dad.
Yeah,
and
Korean
after
film.
I became a dad, and holy crap, I think I told you last time, right? I watched that movie now that I have a daughter, and I cried like a little girl at the end.
It was, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, brilliant film.
Yeah, it's South Korean.
You know the film in the sequel, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. Is I kept seeing, you know, in my Twitter feed, I kept seeing, you know, like poster announcements and things like that. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I've heard of it, but I've never really taken the time to look into it. And then I looked into it and I was just like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the horror genre, I think zombies are getting to that point where it seems like, God, it's so, feels like it's a little overdone. But this somehow was so fresh, and it felt like urgent,
even though it's like 4 years old.
Yeah,
dude, have you seen Kingdom on Netflix?
No.
Watch Kingdom.
Okay.
That's awesome. I think that might be Korean as well. Actually, it's either Korean or Chinese.
No, in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I have seen it's come up in my little feed or whatever on Netflix.
Don't watch it dubbed though. Oh my god, I saw the trailer for the second season before it came out, and it was in English. I was like, oh my god, that's awful.
Well, it's weird.
I have to watch in the original language. I'm a snob for that.
Bucho made me watch Cowboy Bebop because I hadn't watched Cowboy Bebop yet, and this was a couple of years ago, and for some reason I couldn't get into it with the English dubbed, even though there's a lot of great voice actors that are doing the work. I just couldn't get into it. But then I finally said, okay, I gotta watch this, and I watched it subtitled, and I loved it. And then I went back and watched the dubbed, and I enjoyed the dubbed. But for some reason I couldn't get into it with the dub. So I always say, yeah, if you have the opportunity to watch it in the original language, you get so much more out of it.
Yeah,
you get inflection and all that stuff. It's
the emotion.
Yeah, I have to watch all the anime that I watch. I just watch mainstream anime really, like Tokyo Ghoul or Attack on Titan. You know,
I'm not an anime fan personally.
But like Dragon Ball Z, I have to watch it in English. I can't watch it in Japanese because it's not it's not what I grew up with, and Vegeta sounds so weird.
Well, and I guess I'm almost finished with the second season of Avatar. My first time watching it, and I am
never seen it.
Oh my god! It's like, where has this show been?
I'm experiencing Dragon Ball Z for the first time.
It's
So
amazing. It's amazing.
I stopped watching it as a show as a child because I thought it was terrible. Um, I love Dragon Ball, hated Dragon Ball Z. But the irony is now I'm experiencing it as the game, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot or whatever.
Oh, it's a great
And it's
game. Mm,
and I'm like, oh, everything that I hated about it as a show works as a game.
mm.
It's like, oh, as a show, what do you do? Well, we can't beat this guy. He beats us. So we level up, we train, we get stronger, and then we beat him. And then some other guy comes along and rinse and repeat. And I'm like, this is, as a show, this is terrible. But as a game, you're like, oh, this is a game. This is how it works. This is like the next level.
It. I think Z is a great show. It's just that there's too much filler. But once you finish the story, you go into the new one, Dragon Ball Super, which like came out 2017, 18, something like that. But that is actually an amazing series. I watched all of that, and that if that becomes the last Dragon Ball after like completely, they went out on a high. That it was really
Yeah.
good.
Well, like I said, it was never for me. The game works for me as a game. As far as anime shows, there's none that I really like except maybe One Punch Man right now. But the irony is that I guess
that's brilliant. I love it.
that's like anti-anime though. It's like it's a parody, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd really count that. I still think it is anime, but
It's fantastic.
yeah, like Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, Akira. Those are probably it for me.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star, obviously.
I mean, it's not for me. I can see the appeal.
You,
It just wasn't for me.
as a kid, you never went wrong. Okay.
Yeah. That's like every anime though. Even Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
We're gonna throw all the fireballs. Oh,
See, it's weird when you were talking about like as a kid or younger, it wasn't for you. A lot of the, like for me, when we were talking about the Legend stuff, like you're a big fan of the Legend stuff, and a lot of the Legend stuff just I didn't connect with it because I wasn't in that demographic and I had other things going on. You know, I was in my mid 20s and I was like, if it's not real Star Wars, like real Star canon, then I got other things to worry about or whatever.
It was canon.
Well, right, but it just didn't connect with me. And then I've gone back and I've read some of the
Shadows do it for you.
See, Shadows I never got into until later.
Like I think I told you this. You know, we wouldn't have Star Wars now.
Oh,
if
I
it
know.
wasn't for Shadows.
I know, and I love that it was almost like a trial bed, you know?
Yeah, they did everything that had to do with releasing a movie without releasing a movie. They did all the promotional, all the toys, the comics, the games, everything without actually making the movie, just to see if there was still interest. And as soon as people ate it all up, they're like, all right, greenlit, prequels, let's go. And yeah, we all know how that went. But
come on, there's some things to like.
Oh, I'm not saying there isn't. Like I said, for me, the story is secondary to the boundary pushing in the movie industry.
Right. And I think that's my only problem as taking a lot of, I mean, look, I'm a lore junkie and a story junkie, you know, but at the same time, you just can't discount the amazing jumps that Lucasfilm and ILM together, you know, just kind of, they've been those pioneers. And it's fun to see some other people kind of push boundaries like I mean, Avatar, you know, Cameron's Avatar, I mean, pushed a lot of things forward. And it's kind of cool to see someone else doing that kind of thing because
I gotta say though, that looked amazing to me when I saw it in theaters. I watched it again maybe 3-4 months ago. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is okay, but it doesn't look as good as I remembered.
It was, for me, it was all the 3D, not just the, because I have
it was the first 3D movie that felt legit.
Well, yeah, and it was like when you're looking down, I remember the one scene that kind of really just blown away, was the beginning when he's getting out of the beds, you know, kind of almost like Fifth Element, you know, but they're all in like, they're stacked. And as he's getting out, there's just all of this depth, and it actually looked like, you know what I mean? It wasn't just, oh, there's a panel here or a panel here, and they're just kind of moving, you know what I mean? To kind of give you that almost the old cartoony effects, you know, when they would, or I can't remember, what is it, parallax? Is that what it's called?
The parallax? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of 3D is done that way, right? It's just
Yeah, because a lot of 3D actually, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of movies
post-production.
that were released in 3D, they were done after the fact
Right.
because they weren't filmed in 3D.
Right. And that's what Avatar was just like. Even
But Avatar was planned from the beginning, from the get-go. There's only one other movie I've seen that even comes close in terms of the 3D effect, and it was another movie that someone told me, yeah, 3D is a gimmick, but there's a few movies you need to see in 3D. One of them was Avatar, the other was Ant-Man. And I'm like, what? Ant-Man? So I went to go see it. They go, you need to see it in IMAX 3D. And I did. And it's when he shrinks and stuff and expands that sense of scale. You're like, especially when he shrinks in the bathtub for the first, you're like, whoa, because it feels like the walls are growing around you, you know?
Hugo was shot in 3D as well.
Really? Oh.
Hugo.
I love that.
it wasn't. I think the Hobbit movies were too. I think.
Were they?
Yeah, I think so. But they were filmed in 60 frames or something, right?
Yeah, but
Gosh,
unfortunately, those movies are just such a disappointment. But
yeah, I didn't like them.
But anyway,
they spent all their money. That's why the liquid melted gold river looked like shit.
There was a lot of things.
How are you floating on that shield? How are you floating on that shield? That shield should be melted. You're showing me all that gold melted, but not the shield you're on. It's not hot. What's wrong with you? Get out of here.
Made of adamantium.
Where's your continuity soup?
Hey, exactly. Right. I mean, yeah, it's perfect. So you're telling me gold melts, but wood doesn't? That's the least of my worries.
Doesn't burn, not like the heat, whatever.
Yeah, those movies were. It kind of makes me think.
Smaug looked awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it was like, so you took two movies, and then at the last minute you said, "Nah, let's make the second movie two movies again."
It was like you took a book that was shorter than any one of the Lord of the Rings books and made 3 movies out of it. Come on.
I think they had
He filled in from like the Samara. Was it the Samara? Is that called the other
Silmarillion?
Book? Silmarillion. There we go. I knew it was like Samara. I'm like,
it's terrible.
But he filled in from his.
It's not terrible.
Filled in from his other books.
I was gonna say it's terrible,
Anyway.
but I just can't get through it. It's like, I mean, honestly, it's like reading. It's so dense. They're not even enjoyable to
You should read if you're a sci-fi book guy, you should read the Forever War.
The Forever War.
Okay, so it's about traveling in space, theory of relativity. So long story short, there's a war on another planet, and this guy, every time he comes back after a deployment, time has passed, right? So he's older than everyone. So they keep doing this. So basically, because he's been deployed multiple times, he's the only survivor now. It's been like hundreds of years. So they call it the Forever War. And every time he comes home, it's like, anyways, I don't want to give away too much, but that's the premise.
I'm big into all kinds of sci-fi stuff. I mean, I've got a list that keeps growing because I keep getting into all kinds of things.
You like Michael Crichton, right?
Mhm.
Jurassic Park. Have you read Micro?
Micro? No.
Yeah, that's the last book he wrote. Unfortunately, he died before he finished it. And there's some parts where you could tell someone else kind of like went in and finished it. Like apparently he had notes, but so obviously I don't know if you know Michael Crichton wrote Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a thing for theme parks. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so Micro is basically if Michael Crichton wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, except with scientists.
Huh.
So not to give away too much, see, it's weird because I have it in my head as a movie because when I was like reading it, I had it all played out in my head. I'm
like
I was
in
about
space.
to say,
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say like there's a scene in the movie, but there's no movie. But the first opening parts of the book, there's scenes where they shrink, right? And they take the physics more into account than Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, oh, they can jump off from heights and they won't hurt themselves because the weight and all that. But there's a scene in the beginning where there I go again. There's ants that come out of an ant pile and literally grab a guy and rip him to pieces and drag the pieces down into the anthill. And you're like,
that's horrific.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, see, there's you just reminded me of something because of like the whole scenes and things like that. I remember some friends of mine way back in the day. This is before Jurassic Park the movie. Of course, Jurassic Park the book, right? And I'd read the book and I had suggested it to one of my friends. We were 15, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, dude, read this book, right? And a couple of weeks later, I'm like, so where are you in the movie? or in the movie, in the book. And he goes, oh, I'm about halfway through. I think they just got to the whatever, right? And I go, oh, so yeah. So, dude, how surprised were you when the kids died? And he goes, what? I'm like, you know, oh crap, dude, I'm sorry. And he's like, I can't believe you ruined it. And I'm like, I'm just kidding. The kids didn't die. But that's like the only time I even pretended to spoil something, and I felt terrible. The look on his face was so bad. So I can't understand these people that just do that online all the time, you know, for movies or games or whatever. I don't get it.
And they're just assholes.
I just don't, because I seriously, it was a joke, and I felt bad.
Being that you like to read, you ever watch the show Dexter?
Yeah.
I
thought the show started out great.
Yeah, see, I gave it a shot, and it was just like, when I heard that the ending was bad, I was like, okay,
Well, there's actually certain parts where you can technically end the series and it would make sense.
Oh, okay.
Up until season 4. Season 4,
yeah.
and then you don't need to watch anymore, really.
Yeah, but I think what happened was that's when they surpassed the books.
All right. I didn't even realize there were books.
Okay, so there were books, and the books are worse than the show.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so if you read the books, the son, one of the two kids that he adopted, I think after seeing their mother get murdered, they develop tendencies to murder as well. So he trains them to be killers in the book. But then they start talking about supernatural stuff where, you know, in the show, he always talks about his dark passenger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the books, it becomes a real thing, like a curse. There's a dark passenger, and it just really, really stupid.
Well, then I will avoid those. I'm still trying to get caught up on, because I mean I'm big into the Star Wars canon stuff, so I've been reading some of those, and I'm way behind.
Hey guys, I need to take a quick break. Can I take a quick break?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Just turn off your or just hit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Now we can talk shit about Billy.
Yeah. Man, Billy with his hair and his
goddamn Billy.
His friggin' head. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, there's I still need to get into Red Dead Redemption 2 per Yoshi. Yoshi told me to do it. It's one of those things where, like, as my plan was, I was like, okay, so done with the show. Now I've got the plan for the next show and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna start playing it. And then I got sick, so I was like, damn it. And I just haven't been back, because now I feel like I've been playing catch up this whole time just to try to, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I played the Last of Us, the first one, all the way through for the first time last week.
Yeah.
And I'd avoided spoilers on that game for 6 years.
Wow.
Because every time anybody talked about it, it's like, no, don't tell me. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and I was completely surprised. It's like what I thought was going to happen in the game. I was like, oh, okay, oh, right. And then I went straight into playing the second one, which I've not finished yet. Don't be a dick. Don't spoil it.
I'm not.
No, I'm just saying to anybody. I finished The Last of Us, the first one.
I haven't even started.
The first one I played it the other day. The first time I've had it for like 6 years.
Same here, but
yeah.
Pat has my copy. He has my PS4, and he's had it for like a year and a half. I probably need to get it back.
All right.
Well, see, that's
the fucking NES punk has my fucking PlayStation. Shitting me.
PlayStation punk.
Now, that's one of those where Pucho said, man, I got to learn to read. This whole book thing sounds awesome. Pucho's great. But, no, the Last of Us
Start with
Part 2.
audiobooks. It's easier.
Oh, right. Yeah. Just work your way up, you know? Start with the little golden books. Those will help. And then, you know. But no,
the ones with like little coloring in there as well, they're really good.
Right.
It's like
pop-ups.
Yeah.
I like the pop-ups. I still have my Empire Strikes Back pop-up from 1980.
Oh wow.
Whatever. Man, that thing. There's one part that doesn't work. But anyway, Last of Us. That's one of those where I feel like, and again, no spoilers in the chat if you've played it or whatever, like it, hate it. I don't really. It's not my thing. But that's one of those where I feel like the people are very upset at one thing or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't play that game because of the problems that you have with the story, you're missing out on an amazing game. Because the gameplay in that game is just like mind-blowingly good. It's like the best Metal Gear Solid game ever.
True, but if you like watching games,
Right.
they are making a series of it,
Right.
which I'm very up for. I'm quite happy to watch that. Though weirdly though, obviously the Witcher series happened, and I don't really want to watch it. I think I watched a bit of the first episode, and I'm not
Wasn't for me.
invested. I didn't play The Witcher, so I'm not
I didn't
invested.
either.
Yeah, so it's like, and apparently there's books as well, and it's like, no, that's not my thing.
It's
So
weird.
I'm not going to do that.
The Witcher was one of those where playing the game, I bought the whole big crazy set twice and have never played probably more than 5 hours of each. I tried it on PC and I'm like, man, this feels like a console game. So I'll wait for it to go on sale on PS4 or something. And I got the big bad complete edition for really super cheap and started playing it. And I'm going, nope, it's just not for me. But I really enjoyed the series.
I think that's the problem. Is games are too big these days. You can't just casually pick up a game that's got a massive story. I think when I was out there, Jay was saying that I should play Days Gone, and I bought it when I came back, and I started playing it, and it's fine. But did I want to invest 50 hours into it? It didn't grab me straight away, so I wasn't that interested. Whereas The Last of Us, it took a little while because I tried playing that a few years ago, and I was like, "No, this isn't for me. This is like a shit version of Uncharted." And I gave it a go again, and no, it was fantastic. I'm glad I went through it.
Billy, are you into those? Are you into any of those games, or are you just kind of like, eh?
I played a lot of the Last of Us. I didn't hear because I think I joined in when I heard what the other two games were. But The Last of Us, I haven't played the last one though. The last of Us, I haven't played that one yet. But the first one I really liked.
Yeah, it was a really good game. Quite tense as well. It's. Do you think that games of that caliber are really? It's almost like an interactive film.
Yes.
That's what games are these days. It's like when you've got your single player story, it is an interactive film.
Yeah, I think you have just as many people working on the story aspect of it as you would a movie.
Yeah.
It takes just as much creativity to I mean, because you're writing a story. Yeah, I mean, some of the stories that I've seen on some of these games, it's like they would have made for great movies. So
yeah, I was blown away again by sorry, I keep saying it. But the lighting in The Last of Us 2 is just, it's like, it's so realistic. No, just the lighting. Just the way it looks. And it's the way the game plays. It's just, yeah, I like it. But anyway, I'll stop talking about The Last of Us now.
That's right.
Prince Mallow plays.
Who?
Oh, he just Bucho said hi to him, so I just called his name out. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Hello.
Well, I mean,
oh hi.
The only that wasn't creepy at all.
Yeah, that was a very creepy voice.
You are my number one.
That's
a guy.
That is not a voice I would masturbate to, I'm afraid.
Lies.
Yeah.
As he's doing it right now.
Right. It's like, how did we get all that semen on set, remember? So.
Hey, I only took 10-minute breaks, so I'm allowed a little bit of downtime.
But seriously though, this is really my last question. I really you guys did an amazing job of stretching all those questions out, but I guess we'll go one at a time. Are there any specific genres that you want to work on in the future that you haven't worked on yet? So Yoshi, what do you think?
I want to make my own movie, like Billy. I want to be like Billy when I grow up.
Ooh.
Oh, hire me for something, please.
Yeah, I want to make a semi-autobiographical movie about how I became a cyborg. No, in all seriousness, I'd love to work on some kind of I don't know, like a horror film,
Mhm.
like an indie horror film, because those are always fun from what I hear, and I've never done it.
That'd be.
I see Leon looking at me with his jaw like semi-dropping. Like I heard it's a nightmare and it's also fun. Those are where the best stories come from.
I worked on one horror film, and I had a great time on it, but it was a lot of work. It was I did the Conjuring 2, and there was one part where we had a massive rainstorm down the street, and the director said that he could see the rain stands, so because it was a big wide, so we had to take them out, and my boss came up to me and said, so yeah, you're gonna have to get that fire hose. It's like, right, and it's like, and aim it up. Yeah, and
let it fall naturally.
Well, the Doug was on one of the big wind machines that was up on a cherry picker, and aiming it to blow the water that I was firing up, which was coming through at about 8 bar. Which I'm not sure if you've ever held 8 bar on a fire hose. It's like wrestling an alligator.
I don't know what bars is, but that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, it was bars of pressure. It's like natural pressure is one bar really. It's like 1.3
stone.
8 psi.
You and your weird measurements.
No, what 1.38 psi per square inch or whatever it is. But that's a bar of pressure. but yeah, basically I was holding it as like 8, and it's you're like wrestling with the pressure like that to stop it from like flying off. And all the water that isn't going into the shot, so all the rain that isn't coming in, is tons of water. Because obviously, the more pressure you got coming through, you got the more volume of water as well. Was all coming back down on top of me, and it's like I was having tons of water on me, and it's like just afterwards, just you got the whole crew laughing at me because I'm absolutely soaked. And it's like, yeah, did it look good? It's like, yeah. It's like, great. I'm gonna go to the truck because I'm soaked. But it was a fun movie to work on, and I would like to do a horror again. It was definitely fun.
Yeah, I mean, I worked on an American Horror Story, but that was a few shots helping with post production, so I wouldn't really count that.
And Walking Dead. I mean, you did.
Oh yeah, Walking Dead.
I mean, but I'm not like that's why I had to clarify I wanted to work on an indie horror movie, not like mainstream like show.
Right.
Yeah.
Once you go mainstream, it I don't want to say it loses its personality working on set, but you don't have like a lot of those crazy moments on set that the stories are made from.
Yeah. And the stories themselves kind of lose a bit of their bite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, man, some horror. Well, like some of the horror movies that Rudy worked on. Holy crap! Some of those are, yeah.
I've got the crew picture, and it was really funny because the I don't know, is Eric still in the chat? I saw it. Yeah, Eric's still in the chat. It's like look in the window up at the top. That's on The Conjuring 2, and it's like, can you see that?
No, we can't see it really.
It looks like a silhouette.
Is that a shadow? Is that a shadow person? Is that a shadow person?
Well, that's the crew picture.
That's a shadow person. Y'all put that in the window, though.
Well, that's it. It's like,
yeah, okay.
It probably was. It probably was. I mean, I didn't put it there, but it's like it's just something you'd see, and it's like, wow, that's creepy.
Now, what did you, Billy, on I think on your stream a few weeks back, weren't you looking at one of the pictures I took, and you were like of that? Remember the room in the house, the
oh
creepy doll
yeah.
room.
Oh,
Yeah, one of the dolls. What was one of the dolls? I can't remember. Something was some issue with one of the dolls. I had an issue with. Oh, it's orbs. There's orbs in the room.
Mm.
But Robbie, you know what? I literally just remembered something I forgot all about. Okay, so you remember when we were at the grandfather's house?
Mm-hmm.
We took there in the scene. There's a Polaroid camera
Yes.
that the characters have. So we're testing it beforehand to make sure it works. And it's taking pictures perfectly fine. We're just shooting it in the room. And one of these pictures, I swear, there's a silhouette of a person. It's like, and it wasn't a shadow because there was nothing casting shadows in that direction. It was just there, and I'm like, holy crap! And then I start hearing these stories about, yeah, apparently, literally, this house is supposed to be haunted.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was saying to you, Billy, that I had a massive Mandela effect with that doll room, because the way I remember it, it was full of dolls, and it was creepy as hell, and it like almost like do you remember Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Like where the room goes really narrow in the back. That's
Yeah.
how I remember that room. But I mean, I saw your picture and it's like that looks like a completely different room to what I remember. It's so weird.
Well, it was a small room, and maybe that's just not being conveyed well in the photo.
I don't know.
But it was a narrow room. But that's the amount of dolls I remember in it. But then again,
Yeah, me too.
That's this dimension, though. I mean, that might not be your dimension.
True.
Well, that's okay. So I remember when I was telling my dad about, hey, we're doing the show tomorrow, and Yoshi and Leon and Billy are going to be on. It should be a good one. He's like, oh, cool, and whatever. I said, don't worry, I won't bring up UFOs, because yeah, that was insane. Eric and Jay basically yelling at each other for an hour.
That's funny.
I mean, I don't know
about UFOs.
Yeah, there's you can kind of see
there's the creepy doll room.
Yeah.
So there was this, for those of you in the audience who may not know, this was a location that we were shooting some scenes in the movie, and it was an old Victorian house. I mean, it's the prototypical haunted house, and in this particular room, we go up there, and it's almost like a halfway between a closet and a bedroom, but it looks like a closet when you first open it up. So it already has this mystique of being this mysterious, almost hidden room. And then you open it up, and it's at a triangle. The roof goes to the ceiling goes to a triangle, a point like that.
Yeah.
It just gives you this uneasiness with the feng shui. And then to add on top of everything, it's filled with, well, not as much as Leon seems to remember, but filled with a bunch of creepy looking dolls.
And
this room does not need to exist.
And there's a lock on the outside of the door, so somebody might get.
Oh yes.
And that's I actually took video because I was the only one up there, because I'm one of those that I'm like, I'm not scared of. I'm not scared of that kind of stuff. And I went in there and I went, yeah, nope. I got out of there quick, because there's a weird funky feeling in there. And then there's those Raggedy Andy dolls. It's just
it looks like something that would come out from under the bed on, like,
it was creepy.
7 or something,
Leon, did you actually go in there?
I didn't go in there. No,
Oh.
no. I think I looked in. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
I didn't go in either, because it's like, I don't know if I'm trespassing on someone's space and I'm going to be haunted myself.
I'm trying to, I think.
And plus, we're shooting there that day. I didn't want to, like, curse the shot. Like, what if, like, that's a barrier? And if you go in there, like, the haunted little girl doesn't like it, and so she curses you. I mean, I wasn't taking any chances.
It was bad enough that I had to go into another room adjacent to where you were filming when we were upstairs, because that's the only place I could have put my my smoke machine. So I was just in another room, and then all of a sudden it became increasingly aware that there were a lot of cats in the house, and I mean, I know Billy, but yeah, I'm very allergic to cats.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. Apparently, the lady that owns the house says there are ghost cats, so they may have not been real.
ghost cats?
I'm not. I'm being serious. She
No way.
literally said that to me. I go because I had to ask because you can't look
That
at this.
sounds like a B movie title.
That's
We should
video
do
of me going
Go-
in.
Ghost
Phantom
cats.
felines.
I asked her. I go. This house has to be haunted, right? This house has to be haunted. And she was like, "Well, I do have like cats that show up, and I have no. I mean, they're ghost cats. They go through the walls and stuff." And I'm like,
I went all the way
I
in.
mean, sounds like a
Next
ghost cat to
Halloween.
me.
And then I went,
Prepare
nope,
yourself,
nope, I gotta
Phantom
get out of here.
felines.
I didn't go. It's
Did you hear this? Like from the corners here.
Hey, Robbie. Hey, Robbie. Why don't you come over here and brush my hair?
yeah, in a what a northeastern. Hey, get over here and get these. Like what was that? What was that thing?
Hey, Robbie, I got a layer of dust all over me. Would you do me a favor and go to the grocery store and get me a pack of smokes and then come back and brush the dust off me?
Sound like Mrs. Bighead off of Rocco's Modern Life.
And it almost devolves into like a
Oh
jerky
baby,
voice.
oh baby, yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting there. We go into the room. You're just brushing the doll's hair, crying. Oh,
That's it. Nice and soft.
I made you a sweet rhubarb pie. No,
The oven should go ding in a few minutes.
so funny.
Just watch out. It's going to be hot.
I thought you were gonna go like super scary, like it'd be like, you know, but no, you're all like, hey, get over here, and you know.
man, oh my god, I can't believe it. We were talking about this idea we had for a short film where like there's this we're in there's two guys in the living room playing video games, and all of a sudden there's this clown, this full-size clown that's just like walking towards them. They're like, whoa, what's going on? Oh, I'm so scary. Where's this clown coming from? And then the clown like falls down and out just pops this little person, like just smoking a cigarette, being like, hey, what's up? And they're like, it's like, what the hell's even going on here? And they just like ignore it. And they go, why don't you go to the store and get me a pack of smokes? And then just hard cut to them at the grocery store with smokes. I don't know, man.
Well,
you had to.
what was that one day when we were doing the location scouting and we did that voice for like 2 hours, and we
Yeah,
kept,
that was like. Well, yeah, it was. What was it? It was like, here's what we do. We go, hey, ma'am, here's a good lasagna. Can you mind if we use your house for like a movie shoot? You know?
yeah, for hours. We were just driving around and just, we kept. This like it reminded me of, Jerky Boys so much because it's like we were getting very close to that kind of stuff where it was like. We need some marmalade over here. Can you come on over and you know, just that was fun, except the, you know, when I took us like an hour out of the way that one time because my phone did something stupid.
Yeah, this was on our search to find a carnival to shoot in, and it proved to be a impossible scenario because I think the only person that we could get to let us shoot at a carnival wanted $25,000. So we were like, oh,
No, thanks. We'll just make our own rides. Thank you very much.
Well, guys, we've been going over 2 hours here. I mean, are we? I know that I think Billy, you said that you had some stuff you had to get to, so we good?
yeah, I'm just working on some movie stuff. Like, here we go. So, yeah.
Ditto.
Well, cool. And anybody, you got anything to plug? Anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
Check out the Game Chasers movie.
Yeah, of course. And all their contact information is always
Make sure
on
to-
chat. So
Catch the new episode of Irate Gamer.
Irate Gamer and AVG, and I can't wait.
right.
They're doing a collab. That'd be amazing.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Wicked. I will watch that.
Well, guys, I guess that's it. We'll be back on Saturday. Not exactly sure what the plan is. I'm hoping for a guest, but we'll see. But yeah. So I guess we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me on, Robbie.
Oh, yeah, and yeah, before we go, yes, thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it. Very, very
It's too
short
late.
notice. And what'd you say?
It's too late.
Oh,
You were gonna hang up already.
yeah. But no, I really appreciate you guys coming on. So, anyway.
Cheerio.